Is there a chance to stop the pound from falling further? Well, to answer that question, we're joined by Hans-Guenter Redeker, joining us now from BNP Paribas. He's the global head of foreign exchange strategy. Good morning to you, Hans-Guenter. Now, are we looking at parity? If you had to put some bets on it right now, what is it, 50-50?
Well, I would certainly see that sterling comes under further pressure, and I assume as well it is going to be aggressive selling pressure. What we have to consider is that the economy is going to continue to be weak. You have a private sector which continues to deleverage, and now the markets are forcing as well into debt consolidation. So we had a bit of a period where the rating agencies were saying that they wanted to wait after the election before they would decide on a downgrade. But now we are approaching election periods, and it looks like that we might have a government which is not going to be driven by a broader majority. And under those circumstances, the possibility of having a successful and decisive budget consolidation, that is very slim. So that actually means either you're getting a downgrade, or if you are getting this decisive action on the fiscal side, you have a significant growth impact, because this economy by 48% is driven by fiscal expenditure.
But Hans-Guenter, okay, the dollar versus the pound is currently at 149.31. You're expecting more weakness because the worst that could happen at the moment would be a hung parliament. Is this not already priced in?
Well, you're saying that the worst what could happen would be hung parliament. I would say that the worst what could happen would be a Labour minority government. I guess that under those circumstances, the market would be really afraid about that possibility. I mean, yesterday can be debated from a flow perspective, but I would say as well that yesterday had been a day where the market voted no confidence to a Gordon Brown minority government.
So Hans-Guenter, if we have a Labour minority government, what kind of level are we going to see on the pound?
I would say that under those circumstances, the possibility to have cable dropping to below 120 or euro sterling going beyond 96 would be quite high. These are our levels we were projecting so far. So that actually suggests that we would have to revise sterling lower under those kind of political prospects.
And these kind of levels could be reached way before the election, depending on the polls. Are you expecting a lot of volatility in the next coming weeks?
I guess it is going to be as usual, as the market is going to anticipate if the opinion polls stay as they are at the moment. You will certainly get the market drifting into this direction. The question, however, needs to be raised how much this is going to be having a self-correcting effect. You just need to look at this morning's press and see what type of press reaction had been to yesterday's fall in sterling. Very often there is a political link to be drawn, and I would be surprised if that would not have an opinion or an impact on the opinion polls itself, so that they would re-widen again.
When could we reach parity? And yesterday we saw so much weakness also after that prudential news. Is that not also just technical, Hans-Guenter?
Oh, you mean that the flow is technical?
Yeah.
Well, I would say that we have as well to consider that in a broader environment of financial flows potentially going into the US and potential financial flows moving out of the UK. This country had been living for so long as being the capital hub into Europe, and now we are having the prospect of higher taxation. We have the prospect of very low domestic demand in the UK. So that means that under those circumstances, the UK is unlikely to maintain its functionality as a capital hub, and therefore it is going to have a negative currency impact from this side as well.
Now, Hans-Guenter, the pound has declined for actually 6 straight days. We're also seeing a lot of investors telling us there's going to be a pullback on the dollar. What would you then invest in?
I would be very, very careful in assuming this pullback in the US dollar. The reason why I'm very careful in that this looks like that we have a change in the way we are conducting flows. Last year it was more like a bond-driven flow. It looks like that this year we are getting more flow in the corporate side, and that actually is going to work in favor of the US dollar. All historic developments where we have seen corporate flows being emphasized worked in favor of the US dollar.
So what else would you buy? Hans-Guenter, any emerging market currencies that look to be good value at the moment?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The emerging markets are acting as a safe haven. Under those circumstances, within the G10, you need to look at the usual suspects from Sweden into Norway, into Australia, into Canada, but as well into Switzerland. All this look good in the emerging market environment. You look in Indonesia, India, Asia in particular, as an entity looks very strong. In Latin America, we favor Mexico relative to Brazil, and in emerging market in Europe, you see a very strong performance of the Polish zloty.
Hans-Guenter, great to speak to you. Have a great day. Well